And next, individual members from individual items from members of the school board. Ms. Peterkin, an update on legislative advocacy, and then her farewell and meeting with community members.
Excuse me. I got a question to ask.
Yes.
Is that going to need a vote for us to vote on recognizing or having, naming the gym? After we gonna need to vote on that.
Not now. She just presented.
Okay,
All right,
so
Ms.
can I
Peterkin?
make a motion to vote on it?
Beg your pardon?
I said, can I make a motion that we vote on it?
Not at this time.
Did she ask for it? Did she ask us to vote on it? Okay, I like to put it on the agenda.
All right. Can you put that on the January agenda?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right. Ms. Peterkin.
Okay. Actually, want to change the order of that just a little bit. First thing I'm going to talk about is the community meeting and community leaders meeting. And what I wanted to say about that, and I brought this up several times while I've been on the board, and the local leaders have, for the most part, have agreed to meet with the school board on a regular basis. And unfortunately, up until this time, the school board has not taken action. I ask that that be one of those things that, as a school board, as you go forward, because the districts that I've gone to, that I've talked to, that have made significant change, that have turned their districts around, they regularly meet with their community leaders to make a difference. Everybody in Marlboro County has a stake in Marlboro County, and we cannot continue to act as separate entities. We have to work together. We have to pull everybody to the table to make a difference. So I just say, be mindful, and please, take that up in the new year to go ahead and set a schedule. Don't keep putting it off, because when you put it off, it keeps continuing to be put off and nothing happens. Next, I'll go to our legislative update. One of those bittersweet things, I said going to Hilton Head this weekend gave me an opportunity to not only once again get wonderful information, but to say goodbye to the colleagues that I have had the pleasure of meeting and building relationships over the last 4 years. And some of the things they said definitely warmed my heart. And I said, and because, like I said, y'all think I fight here, I really fight when I go there. So they've extended the leaf of making sure that I'm still on the advocacy team. And when we go and we speak for our kids, that I'm welcome to go with them and speak on the behalf of Marlboro County. So know that even though I'm going off the school board, I will not stop fighting for our kids. Some of the important things that they talked about the Abbeville decision. And as we know, that's talking about equally funding all of our school districts. And we know from our little piece of the pie that we don't have enough a lot of times compared to the other districts to do some of the things that we would like to do. And one of the things that I found quite interesting hearing from our representatives is they have the bill, but they're unsure where to go next. They need input from us on what's the best way to provide equal funding. Yeah, like I said, they definitely need guidance because they're not sure. And I said, actually, me reading the bill means equal funding. Some areas, the way that the state does it, everybody gets the same amount of funds from the state. But then they have extra resources that we don't have. They have the industries. So it's like, what is the suggestion so that we can get that extra funding? Well, if they have the extra industry that we don't have, then the state needs to look at how they fund us, and maybe the districts that don't have that extra revenue, that they provide them with the extra revenue that's needed so that every district can get everything that they need. And that's why it's so important that we keep speaking and then we keep advocating. A lot of people, because we're here, in Marlboro County, and a lot of things that they hear is the bad news. They don't hear people coming out and fighting and saying, you know what, we demand our piece of the pie. And I looked at the list of school districts that was on the Abbeville decision, and Marlboro County should have been on that suit, but we weren't, because, you know, we've been losing a piece of the pie just like the rest of them. So I say, keep up the fight on that.
Ms. Picker, I just wanted to share with you, Marlboro County was originally on that lawsuit.
And they moved it, yeah.
But it's been a 20-year to 22-year thing. So I'm glad you're bringing up the Abbeville situation, because that is going to be a huge opportunity for us.
Yes, most definitely. And so talking about that, and that was a few other things, and talking about transportation and all the other things that are underfunded. And, oh, actually, I have something. The theme of this week's was Stand Up for Public Education. The board members that were there, I all gave them one of these, and these are bracelets that said Stand Up for Public Education. So for the board members that were not there, I brought you all back a band. It is so imperative that we keep up the fight. And I would also encourage the people that hear, there are a couple of things that are coming up. 2 days at the Capitol. That's usually something me and Ms. Nan usually do. I encourage that, you know, somebody else also go, because that's the day where we go and we talk to our leaders on Capitol Hill. And then in February, the advocacy meeting where you go to DC and talk to our congressman and our senator on their turf to let them know that Marlboro County exists. And so now I'm going to leave from that and say my farewell. And like Dr. Tiller said, this is bittersweet. I have enjoyed being on the school board. We've had disagreements, a lot of disagreements. But you know what? We've gotten along a whole lot more than we've disagreed. And I look at when I talk to people and they say, well, the school board doesn't do anything, all they do is fight. But they don't look at the changes that we've made, the success that we have, the things that our schools have been able to do. You know, $30 million in grants is nothing to just blow to the side and say it hasn't happened here. It has. You know, to build a new school in Blenheim, a new school going up in Wallace, that is something awesome and amazing. To increase our summer program from a little over 100 students to 900 students this past summer. We have accomplished a lot. We don't always agree, but no group completely agrees all the time. We need to remember why we're here. I said the kids that performed tonight, that's why we're here. But the public needs to remember why we're here also. I said sometimes, you know, it's like, when you think about it, we all think different. Sometimes, you know, we want the same goal, but the way that we get to it is sometimes different because we are all individuals. We all have different mindsets. So the way Ms. Parson might come at something is totally different from the way that I might come at it. It doesn't make her bad. That's just her way of doing it. So we have found a way as a board, even after the argument, to get it done. This board has never come back to the public and said, hey, you know what, because of our disagreements, we're not going to pass the budget. The budget has been passed on time every year. I commend my fellow board members for the work that they've done. I commend them for their willingness to stand up and fight for this community. It's easy for somebody to stand back and say, you know what, I can do that job. I would dare you to try it, to not only sit up here in front of this board and have people look at them, but then also when you go out in the community, having people judge everything that you do. These board members have been willing to be the people in the front to fight when nobody else has been willing to fight, to be the ones to be the leader when nobody else will be the leader. To be trashed in the newspaper, to be trashed in the streets for what they believe in. They believe in Marlboro County. They believe in the kids of Marlboro County. Like I said, this is one of those bittersweet things. And well, to me, sometimes it's just completely bitter. But then when I say I go and people say, hey, you know what? There's some things now that you can do that you were restrained doing as a school board member. There's some things I can go out and say now that I couldn't say as a board member. I say, because I'm going to go with my head held high. I am not a loser, I am a winner. I came here and I fought. I didn't get everything that I wanted, but a lot has happened. I said, we don't have, you know, some people look, we don't have the sports complex in Blenheim, but they don't look at, and they don't know what's going on behind the scenes, because that's something that's in the works. And some of my fellow board members have been working with me on that. But it's one of those things where we've been working on a joint collaboration, not only with the school board, but with the county council and the town of Blenheim, that make sure that when we do it, that we give the kids the right thing. That we don't just throw them something out there to begin with. Because a lot of times people want something done fast, and when you do something fast, it's not oftentimes not done right. So I would prefer that it be done right for our kids than to just throw something out there. And I know everybody's probably about ready for me to stop talking, so what I'm going to say before I go. I want to thank all of the staff and faculty, pretty much all of Marlboro County, for being who you are. Please don't ever let anybody else put Marlboro County down. Don't you go out and put Marlboro County down. I know you get upset, and a lot of times we remember the things that upset us than the good things. This is your home. You made this your home for a reason. There are some awesome things going on in this county. I said, those people might not even know, we just got a student accepted at West Point. That is an awesome feat, because that's not an easy thing to happen. But that happened from a student in Marlboro County. Our kids went and they played their heart out of that football game in Hartsville, and yeah, they were cheated. And I've seen other occasions when our kids have been cheated. And we as a community haven't come out and said, you know what? We stand behind our kids. We're going to fight behind our kids. Not fighting in the wrong way. I'm not talking about getting out there and being physical with it, but I'm saying using your voice to say that's not fair. It amazes me when I go places, and as small as Marlboro County is, it has a big reputation for being bad. But we all know that this is an awesome place to live. There you go. And I said, and I thank God that I live here. I thank God that I got a chance to come back here and fight. And like I said, I'm not finished fighting. Y'all haven't seen the last of me. I said, as long as God gives me breath, I'm going to fight for my home. And I encourage each and every last one of you to fight for your home. And before you get upset about some of the things that people say, do your research. Find out for sure really why things are going on the way that they're going on. Don't just get upset because they might be up here arguing. Listen and try to understand what they're arguing about. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Fleming?
At the advocacy meeting, the economic outlook for South Carolina, according to Mike Shealy, who's the budget for whatever, we're going to be funded, am I correct, Mr. Parks, at the same level or maybe a little better than we were in the past, which is good news. Things are looking better financially statewide. They have, and that has not been the trend since I've been going to that meeting. So if we can kind of do maybe a little sigh of relief, not that, okay, it's not as dire as it has been in the past. And that was good news for me, that we may even get a little bit more than the $2,019. I'm not exactly sure what we get. Pardon me? 2101, so I'm not sure whether, but we will get that without no problem on the state budget. So we may be getting more. That is always good news that the financial outlook for public education is getting better.
Thank you, Ms. Fleming. And next, Dr. Cobb. Under Human Resources, the revised board member compensation policy, BID, first reading. Is his thing on?
Madam Chair, School Board, you have in your packet a revised board policy, BID, board member compensation and expenses, with the changes in red. And administration recommend approval for first reading. As board policy, BID, board member compensation and expenses.
Mr. Goff, would you like to make a motion?
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the first reading of Board Policy BID, Board Member Compensation Expenses.
I second.
Is there any debate? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed? Yes, Dr. Tiller?
Thank you, Ms. Parsons. Due to the time sensitiveness of this particular policy, if it pleases the board, I would like to schedule a call meeting for Monday night because we need to have a second reading on this policy.
Is that agreeable with everyone?
Ms. Onasia.
Ms. O'Nation was opposed. Right. And next, Ms. Battle, the district report card reading. Thank you, Dr. Cobb.
At your seat, you have a folder. If you would open that folder, you have 2 items in that folder. Tonight, it gives me great pleasure to report our district South Carolina State Report Card ratings. We are extremely proud and grateful to our faculty and staff members for all that they have done to ensure that our students are getting a quality education. Each year, we see more success from their hard work and dedication. It takes and took everyone in the school system to help us achieve success. On last month, Dr. Tiller shared with you the ratings that you see on the screen and that are in our achievements publication from the last time you were together, as well as what you see in the folder at your seat. We have added the new ratings to the chart. The district received an average absolute rating and an average growth rating. And just to remind you of what that means, in the absolute category, it means the ratings we or a school receives based on the percentage of students meeting the standard on the state assessment. Growth means the matched data comparing students' current performance to what they did last year. I want to point out just a couple of things as it relates to our rating of average for absolute and average for growth. In the absolute rating, we outscored several districts, including Allendale, Florence 4, Hampton 2, Jasper 1, Lee, McCormick, and the South Carolina Public Charter School District. In the absolute rating, the other schools that we tied with, so to speak, that got the same ratings, and there's quite a list, so I'm only going to tell you some of them. Clarendon 1, Clarendon 2, Dillon 4, Florence 2, Florence 3, Greenwood 50, Lawrence 56, Lexington 2, Lexington 4, Marion 10, all 3 Orangeburg districts, Richland 1, and Sumter, to name a few. In the growth rating, several of the districts, to name some, that scored below what we received here in Marlboro County School District included Chester 1, Clarendon 2, Colleton 1, Dillon 3, Florence 2, Florence 3, Florence 4, Greenwood 50, Greenwood 51, Hampton 1 and 2, Lee, Lexington 2, Lexington 3, Lexington 4, and Sumter, just to name a few. And districts that had the same growth rating as Marlboro County School District included Dillon 4, Florence 5, Lawrence 56, Marion 10, Richland 1, Spartanburg 3, Spartanburg 7, York 3, and the South Carolina Public Charter School District. Districts that tied with both the absolute and the growth rating, meaning that they also received average, included Dillon 4, Lawrence 56, Marion 10, Orangeburg 4, and Richland 1. While we are truly excited about the fact that we are meeting the standard, we are in no way satisfied with being a part of the status quo. We are continually striving to reach excellence in all areas. To this end, the second handout that you will find in the folder is a description of our after-school programs that started today. And I'm not going to go through that. You can kind of read that for yourself. We have started our after-school programs in order to give our students who are what we term not met to or on the bubble a chance to have additional help so that they will be successful on standardized testing. If you don't have any questions for me, very briefly, our principals will come and they'll each do 2 minutes and give their ratings and explain the reasons for the ratings and what they have in place for improvement. And we'll start with Mr. Jorgensen at School of Discovery. And we have limited them to 2 minutes unless you have questions. Any questions for me? Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Tiller, at School of Discovery, we're a 6th, 7th, 8th grade middle school performing arts school. Our absolute rating and growth rating in 2013 was average. In 2014, last year, we maintained that average rating. Average meets the standard for progress for school performance. Our area of focus this year, looking at our data, is math, middle school math. We're struggling with it at School of Discovery. Some of the things we're doing to increase the math achievement this year is we've added a master TAP teacher who also serves on the district curriculum team, who is certified, gifted, and talented for the areas of math and science. As a TAP school, our school goal focuses on increasing math achievement through research-based strategies and best practices for increased teaching and learning in all areas of math. We use data from our MAP tests and our benchmark tests to identify students who would benefit from enrichment activities at our school. We also, from day one this year, has started the use of Khan Academy, an internet-based program for our 7th and 8th grade students who are struggling with math concepts. This class is in addition to the regular math class. Also, we're in our 2nd year in the Digits math program, and our teachers and students are more comfortable with the program as it started last year. And finally, as Ms. Battle stated, we've increased the number of our students at School of Discovery who are attending the after-school programs back at their home schools. So math is an area of focus this year for us, and we look forward to increasing it through those areas. Thank you. Do you have any questions? Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Janice Henson, principal at Wallace Elementary Middle School, preschool through 8th grade. We are lucky to get 2 report cards, and I call this the good news, bad news, great news reports, because it was a mixed bag. At the elementary level, last year we received average, which means we were doing what the state expected us to do. This year, we again received average, and we're very excited about that. We're still meeting standard. We're still progressing the way we want. But our growth rating was at risk. This is due to us falling down on our scores. We were still overall in the proficient rate range, but we dropped below that range. When we look at our ELA and math scores, we dropped down, but we were still in our proficient range, if that makes sense. So we are not happy about that, and we're going to prove that at-risk wrong by improving our test scores this year. At the middle school level, we went from below average to average at the absolute rating, and we're very excited about that. And we went from good to excellent in the improvement rating. We spent a lot of time and emphasis at the middle school level last year looking at standard-based instruction. We were putting that same emphasis that we put at the middle school level at the elementary level this year. As Mr. Jorgensen said, with the TAP coming into our school, we have more support. We have the ability now to really get into those classrooms and pinpoint some of those areas, meeting with those teachers, and working with those students. And my report is very similar to Mr. Jorgensen's, so I will just state that we are doing the same type of things, activities. We have identified those students that were just above proficient or just missing proficient. We're working with them within our day, within our enrichment periods. And then we are also, those students will be in the after-school program. Some of those students will be in the after-school program. So we are excited about what's going on at Wallace, and we hope to continue to get good news, and we will not be at risk next year.
Thank you.
Good evening, and thank you for taking this time to listen to our report. I'm the principal, Judy Kane, principal at Clio Elementary Middle School. And the elementary school, we have 2 report cards also. And at the elementary level, we went from below average on our absolute rating last year to average this year. However, our growth rating went from excellent last year to good. But we were really proud that we are average this year at the absolute rating. Also, we also have a middle school report card, and middle schools are really not doing as well as we'd like for them to do, I think, across the state. However, at Clio Elementary Middle School, we continue to be at risk at our absolute rating and average at our growth rating. Some of the things that we have looked at Clio, we've decided, we worked with the district to look at some best practice programs that we could use. And so they suggested to us, along with us doing some research ourselves, to look at Read 180 and System 44. So we're using those programs this year to hopefully help to get those students that's been like 2 grade levels behind in reading up to standards. Because we know that the reading will help those other areas. And so if we can move that reading, we'll move everything. So our teachers, they have obtained professional development in Read 180 as well as in System 44. We also decided that we had to look at every child. If we want to make a difference at Clio Elementary Middle School, we are going to have to decide that we are going to move all students. Every child deserves a chance to go through the high school, to be successful at the high school level. So we are now taking every child, and we have those students listed. We know exactly where they are and what changes we're going to have to make. We just received our first benchmark test, and under information of text, we're finding that we're having a challenge there. If the information is not right there, the students cannot, they're not doing interpretive thinking. So we have gone in there the last 2 weeks, and we're looking at what we're going to do to help them become better thinkers. Through the TAP program, they're helping us also to help our teachers to understand that you have to teach thinking. It's not just something students will do, but it has to be taught to them. How do you think? How do we reason? How do we analyze information? So we're teaching our students also to do just that. We have some seasoned teachers. They're from Wallace. Thank you, aside. We have 2 people coming in. They're working with students, but they're also working with teachers. These were 2 veteran teachers that had good scores on the past test, and now they're working with my students and my teachers. So teachers are getting an opportunity to see how they use manipulatives, how they work with students, so that they're modeling that with the teachers and for the teachers, as well as with the students. Our teachers have been to visit other schools that are doing well with students like ours. And we, although we are priority school, we've kind of been blessed, so that's kind of bittersweet too. Because every middle school student will have a computer to carry around school all day. They will not be allowed to take them home. Well, they will have those computers in their possessions all day long, even for the art classes or wherever they go, to work on skills and activities. And they can work at various levels. They can work with, say I'm working maybe reading at a 4th grade, but I'm in a 6th grade class. And another teacher's student in 6th grade is reading at the 8th grade level. Well, they have materials to read at their levels so that we can scaffold that learning and they can improve. The extended day, we're grateful for that. At first, we were like, oh, another half an hour. But we really need it. The teachers are saying, we need even more time for remediation, Ms. Kane. So we're going back regularly and looking at our schedules to see how to help them. We're thankful for the early release time, because that's given us an opportunity to work as a whole school to look at things that we need to work on, activities, and that gives me an opportunity to train and work with all of the teachers.
Ms. Payne, I know you have a lot.
I'm so glad you did that, because I was about to.
Ms.
Thank you,
Kane.
Ms. Battle.
Ms. Kane, can I ask, let me ask you a question, please? Okay, I'd like to know how, when you recognize a child in the class that's not doing as well, that may be behind and need to be up on a different level, how do you, or, what are they doing for that one child in that class during that class period?
They look at those children. Every time they're teaching, they're analyzing. They're looking to see which child's not staying up with them. And then those teachers have time during the class where they'll pull those students aside. Once they have the other students working at their independent levels, they're able to pull that one child aside then and give him that extra time he needs to work with them. Also, we have time for remediation during the day, and the teachers work with each other to let them know what the children need to work on during remediation.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Uncle.
Do y'all have enough people in the classroom to help with that, Ms. Kane? Do y'all have enough help in the classrooms?
We would always love more, but we are doing our best with what we have. So we're going to do it because we have to make those changes. We have to make that change.
Okay.
Mr. Lemon.
Good evening.
You need to cut your time to make up for Ms. Kane.
Well, Ms.
I'm kidding you,
Kane, Ms. Kane, I want to thank you for your enthusiasm.
That's right.
You're excited about what's going on, and that's a good thing.
Thank you. Oops, I got two. Will they be enough? Yes. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
My time passing this out, but again, good evening to all of you. Certainly, pleasure to speak on behalf of Marlboro County High School. The purpose of the handout that I gave kind of shows, based on our school report card, our state school report card, how we are rated. Because in contrast with our LISA rating, we went from an F rating to a C rating, so we showed marked improvement. But with our state report card, our rating for absolute was average, and our growth rating was below average. And it's been that way for 2 years. But I wanted to provide you with this handout so you can see from 2013 to 2014, in several areas, we improved. For example, we improved in the longitudinal passes of HSAP. We improved in our graduation rate. We improved in the 5-year graduation rate. We improved Algebra 1. We fell slightly in English 1. We improved in biology by 14.7%, U.S. history 1.7%, and overall in all subjects 0.9%. So the reason that the rating stays the same for the state could be indicated by the points that I have in red beneath the actual percentage. If you look at the table at the bottom, those points represent those bands of performance.
For example, for a 3 longitudinal exit exam, you would have to have between an 84.1% and 94.2%. And when you are assigned those 3 points, that's how your absolute index is determined. And our absolute index at the high school has been 2.8 since 2012, even with the marked improvement in different areas. So again, that's why I showed you this handout so you can understand why the difference in improvement from our East report card to our state report card. Now, looking at our areas of concern, of course, first and foremost, the game changer that's coming for the high school, with our 11th graders taking the ACT test in the spring as well as the ACT work keys. We've been provided through the State Department of Education access to Career Ready 101, which is an online database that our students can go in. Our teachers can provide lessons. Our students can engage in virtual learning through that site to prepare for the work keys assessment. Recently, we had several administrators attend ACT workshops, planning to have an ACT representative to come to our site in the near future, because there's a lot of information that needs to be shared with our parents and our students about the ACT and about those components that are required for post-secondary, because tests can be used to enter college if they take the science portion. But if we look specifically at an area of focus at the high school currently would be English for our end of course exams. Now currently we have our students, 75% of them get a year-long version of English, which is a little different than last year. So we have an English seminar and an English 1 to increase the amount of instructional time in hopes of increasing that end of course score. Students were placed in this class based on their performance in the 8th grade. We analyzed MAP scores, we analyzed pass scores, and we identified several students that we felt needed that extra time. Those students that were excelling from the 8th grade coming into the 9th grade, we placed them in semester-long version of the course. Same way with Algebra 1. And all of that in hopes of increasing the end of course passage for our students. In U.S. history and biology, we've also added benchmark assessments. We've taken the first benchmark back in November. Our teachers have in hand the comprehensive benchmark currently. They're going to use that benchmark to prepare for those needed reviews leading into the end of course test at the end of the semester. We're very optimistic about the future. As long as we provide our teachers with the information and they continue to engage in clusters and collaborate together, we expect to improve greatly at the high school. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't have a question, Mr. Lemon, but I'd just like to share with the board that the ACT training that professional development that Mr. Lemon is speaking about, as you know, last year was the last year for the exit exam. And so the ACT that we're talking about, ACT is developing a new assessment that will be administered in our state. So that's what he's referring to.
Who's next? Oh, okay.
Good evening. I'm one of the new ones, so we're looking a little bit towards the future, what we're looking at being here for the first time. And one of the things we talked about is being a data-driven school and looking at our scores from where we want to do and what is met, what is not met, and what we want to do in terms of our growth. And we continue to focus on that 600. 600 is met. We tell everybody 600, 600. We want to look at identifying the bubble, the target students that we look at who are just below or above the 600 mark to help inform instruction. In hopes of increasing all subgroup means to 600 and above. We were very close on a few, very 599 close. So a little bit of growth, a little bit of adjusting here and there can make a world of difference. Differentiating instruction to grow all students, meaning all students where they are, by teaching prerequisite skills they may have missed, basic facts, building backgrounds, knowledge, knowing your data, knowing your kids when you first start off with that fall map, know where we are is a big part of what we need to do in terms of our growth. Our focus this year is ELA, and ELA focus implementing the DEAR program, drop everything and read, and selected grades, utilizing a revised exploratory schedule for middle school grades 6 through 8, to allow struggling readers to supplement the grade level ELA class with an additional Read 180 class. Prior years it was just one, now they're able to have both. This will ensure students receiving both on grade level reading instruction as well as instruction as their identified reading level. implementing a new ELA series in grades 6 to 8, adding the System 44 program to the Read 180 program for struggling readers in grades 6 to 8. Also, in terms of our groups, implementing grade level improvement plans. Our grade level teams are working by grade level, written by grade level teachers based on grade level test data. Training teachers to utilize map and benchmark data to improve instructional based on the students' needs. Obviously participating in the TAP program. Through this process with the TAP master teachers, we have 5 mentor teachers to lead and support all teachers in both teacher effectiveness and raising student achievement. One of the other things that we focused on, one of our groups, and one of my personal as a former special ed teacher, we did a little bit of changing and adjusting into our EC program, reassigning some teachers to best fit our needs at different levels, which I think has been very successful. Those are the things that we've worked on.
Thank you. Next.
I told Dr. Phillips to say everything I need to say. Very close, I mean, 2 Italians. You know, I'm principal at Glenham Elementary Middle School, and I can tell you the first thing that I recognized when I came into the building was the amount of change that had occurred over the last few years, not just coming from taking 2 buildings and putting them together, two different groups, but also 2 different faculties. Dr. Tiller had mentioned at our administrators retreat that the first thing we needed to do as administrators was come up with a 90-day plan. And so that's what we focused on. We focused on student achievement, professional development, and school culture. And I gotta tell you, the biggest thing that we have really focused on the first 90 days has been school culture. I don't think it's being disrespectful to say that my school, is not really well looked at. We had a very poor reputation coming in, and the kids and the staff feel that way. So we've done a lot in just changing the culture. It's been a very difficult thing for us to do, but the kids have bought into this, and they want to be the best in the district. And it means no criticism to my coworkers, my peers, but we're going to be, and that's something that they know, and they believe, they hear it constantly, and it's just something we want. They're not used to hearing. We will be the best in the state.
I think you other folks are being challenged right now. You need to listen.
I like to push the envelope. But that's a really important thing, because if you don't believe in yourself, you're not going to be successful. And so I've had to do that with my teachers. One fact I shared with Dr. Tiller recently, I don't know if she was aware of this, but in my 7th and 8th grade group, I have 12 teachers. 6 of them have not taught for more than a year and a half. Of those 6, 2 of them are long-term substitutes that don't even have degrees in education. 3 of them are Teach for America. Our state scores in middle school are pretty bleak. That's part of the reason why. So what we've done with our teaching staff, professional development wise, is really just go back to basics. We're spending time teaching teachers to write good lesson plans that are engaging. We're using the data to drive the differentiation that they do within the classroom. We're focusing on the same things that all these other folks have talked about, how TAP will support the instruction through classroom observations, through collegial conversations. We've got to really start at the basics to change the culture of the school to make it successful. And it's happening. And if you get a chance to come out to Glenham, we'd love to have you, because we want you to see that we're not going to be a failing district anymore. I can stand up here and echo a lot of the things the other principals have said. We're doing them, and we're going to continue to do them. If you have any questions for me, I can be more specific, but
I just want to make a comment to all of these wonderful principals and what you're saying, especially at Blenheim, where we know some of the scores were particularly low. It's nice to say it's there, we need to do something about it. Are any of you coming up with any plans about how you can involve community people to help you? I just pose that to you. I think this is an asset that we are not using, and maybe you all have some ideas about how to do that best for your school and your culture. But I want to share that with you, that this is, we know we have some programs, we know we have some help, but I think as a school district across the board, this is a weakness that we're not doing enough there. You all have a lot to do, and I understand that. But I would like some leadership on that in terms of what you need and want from the community.
I think as a district, we're making a real emphasis
Wallace has a really good
Wallace,
program.
I think I speak for the district, just based on the list that we see every month, that we're getting more and more people involved.
Great.
I think we're trying to get, as you mentioned, our celebration of success, getting the parents involved in the success that's going on, trying to promote any way we can to get the parents in here. As you can see, they're here, but then they got to get involved in the right things, which is our children's education, and hopefully focusing on that success, focusing on those academic success will lead to bigger things and better things as we go.
And I'd just also like to add that we are also engaging more of our local businesses and industries have come on board and have been working along with us as well.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Madam Chair, Dr. Tiller, board members. My name is Clifton Harrington. I'm the instructional leader at Dennisville Intermediate School. Some of the things that we are doing at Dennisville Intermediate School to improve our rating this year, we have implemented the Read 180 program and the System 44 program. We continue to work with our teachers with the common planning time. With that common planning time, we are working with teachers on how to write measurable objectives. We are working with teachers on how to write common assessments. We are also digging into our benchmark data, using that data to drive our instruction. We also have implemented the TAP program, the Teacher Advancement Program. With that program, we have a master teacher and 4 mentor teachers and the administrator that are providing support to our teachers in the area that they will need support in. For our early release days, we are continuing to provide professional development for our teachers. We are continuing to be in our classroom with observation, with bell-to-bell observation, and walk-through observations on a daily basis. We are continuously to use the data. Everything that we do, we use the data to drive that instruction. When we want to make a purchase, we look at the data. What area do we need to spend that money in? We also continue to have a built-in remediation period for those students that need additional help. We also, one of the big focus this year, since our area is ELA, is to make sure that we have rigor and to make sure that every student is engaged in our classroom. Also, we started our after-school programs this week, but not only that, our teachers have identified students that need extra help, and they are staying after school or coming in early in the morning to provide additional instruction for those students. Again, we continue to try to increase our parental involvement. We have the police department that's coming in, mentoring our classes, making adopted classes in our school. We have formed clubs and organizations at our school this year, such as the drama club, the gardening club, the yearbook club, and other clubs to provide some additional support for our students that need help. And we are always looking for volunteers to come in our school and help us. And we would like to say to the board members that are involved, thank you for your support that you provide to us, and we look forward to you continuing to provide that support to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harrington. Ms. Reddy?
Good evening. Good evening. I am Gail Reddy, principal of the primary school, and I did sit back and I don't know if there was a specific order. However, our K-2, we are not state tested. We do take our MAP test, and our actual ratings and scores fall back on us from our third grade scores that come. Still, that we strive very, very hard to make sure that our first and second graders are ready to move to the next grade level, so that we have done our part so that it does not affect in a negative way the Bennettsville intermediate scores. Some of the things that we have, we're very pleased with our state report card again this year. But that does not mean that we need to sit idle. We are working very, very hard. During the summer, our district provided an extended school year for many of our kindergarten students that showed some serious deficits, which the board members may not be aware of. We had approximately 70 students that came into kindergarten last year that had never been in school before, that had no preschool whatsoever experience. And that was a large number, very large number. But the extended year summer school programs were for K-2. We have implemented the reading remedial program, the iRead program. This past week, our final 7 teachers in 1st and 2nd grade, this is a remediation program for them, for these students. We finally got our final 7 trained, and that is beginning, it's up and running. And definitely by, when we come back from Christmas vacation, it will be up and running. We also have a built-in additional RTI time, which is response to intervention. We've identified our students that are very critical, and those students actually have additional assistance from our itinerant teachers. We have built it in to where our PE, our art, our music will go and pull these students in small groups, 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 at the max, so that they can make the best, time for them, give them some optimal time in reading and math. We do have grade level planning. We are constantly analyzing our data. We have also identified our bubble students through our TAP program and evaluating our scores to see which ones we can move quartile, from the 25th percentile up to the end to the 50th, moving all the way up, and then also what can we do for that top quartile group of children to keep them there and keep them moving up as well. As all of the other principals stated, we do have the TAP evaluation system with a master teacher, between the master teacher mentors as well as myself, hold leadership team meetings and cluster meetings that focus on specific teaching strategies and what are best practices that need to go on in the classroom to improve instruction. We are identifying teachers that need professional development in critical areas, which could be, in ELA, in math, also in classroom management, and what we can do to help them with that. We keep our parents informed weekly through the progress reports that go home. We've also stepped up our PTO meetings. They are very informative now. They have we have reading nights, math nights, science nights, that the parents actually come and we engage them in activities to show how they can go home and help their students learn and do different things. We have blocked time for ELA and math that is uninterrupted. After the morning announcements in the morning, there's a 2-hour reading block that goes on. And unless there is an emergency or a drill, that it is uninterrupted. And we even talk with our parents about that and let them know that this is to be uninterrupted, to talk with teachers during planning times and times that are not instructional time periods. We were able to add, which is a biggie for the Bennettsville Primary School because of the funding and the lack of our state testing and some of the funds that we receive or don't receive because we are not in that state testing packet. We were able to add 5 smart boards to our school, and we have 9 that we have also put in to complete this year that will complete all of our classrooms and having the technology that it needs. And
I'm sorry, I have to stop you at the same point.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to go over, I apologize. But anyway, many efforts are being made to make sure our little ones are doing what they need to do.
One thing I do want to mention for Ms. Redding is that we also served our students, all of our students that came to us from the Head Start program. We served them this summer also.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is that everybody?
I think it's the
Mr. Goff?
Yeah, I just want to make a quick statement and tell, I know a lot of our crowd's left, but it's very obvious that we have some tremendous principals in place in our school district. And, just seeing the enthusiasm, the way you carry yourself, we're very lucky to have you. I hope you're getting the support that you need from the district level, and I hope that as we move forward that the board's going to continue to do things that are going to allow you to be able to have better teachers and retain teachers and do those type things. So as we move forward, 2015 is almost here. We're going to start getting into our budget process. You know, start calling, talking, letting us know the things that you need. I think that we need to gear our budget so that we're supporting at the school level with administrators and with qualified teachers and encouraging people to, you know, to come in and be a part of that. But, you know, just hearing some of the things that you're doing, you know, continue to be those instructional leaders. And if there's anything we can do as a board to support you, but I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you. I know we've got some up and down on our, you know, in some of our elementary levels. We've seen some good, some bad, but I think that we've got the right people in place, you know, to get us over the hump. And I just want to, from me personally, I just want to say thank you for the job that you do. We appreciate it.
You got some more comments?
I'll second that. Keep going.
I'll tell you something that I really liked tonight is y'all were more real about what you were telling us. It's no benefit to us if you get up and tell us that everything is fine and you're doing this and this and this and this and this, and we don't see the real picture of what's going on. It's very helpful. We're not here for public relations. We're here to help you have the things you need to do what you need to do. And if you're not real with us, it's hard to do that. I appreciate that tonight. All right, Ms. Parks, how fast?
That's fine. No, let it go.
I'm sorry, I couldn't see you.
That's fine. That's all right. That's all right. Okay, you're not going. Okay, I'll go ahead and go. Can you?
We need a curved table. Mr. Parks, the financial report.
No, Ms. Peterkin.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Like I say, hey, this is my last time. You know I'm not going to pass this up, right?
I didn't see your hand. Sorry.
Let's get some light up wherever it goes.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you guys, all the principals, for the tremendous job that you're doing. And, you know, we think about this day and age and everything is data-driven, test-driven, and we have to spend a lot of time focusing and talking about the numbers. But I can tell also that even though you're talking about the numbers, the love that you have for our kids. And so I want to thank you and I want to salute you for the love that you have and encourage you to keep on loving our kids and doing all that you can for them. And like I said, you know, just thanks.
Mr. Parks, do we still have money?
We do.
Good.
Madam
All right.
Chairman, Madam Chairman, could I make a motion that we accept the financial report of Mr. Park as submitted here and the Wallace School construction project update as information? I make that motion.
Terrific. Yes.
Is there a
Any
second?
is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. And we still have money, so we're good to go.
And we just have one more
Update on the
about
McCall.
the acquisition of the McCall.
Right.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
not included in that motion.
Right, yeah.
Well, before you go on to that motion, can I ask one question about the Wallace School project?
Yes, sir.
Are we on track? Timeline?
What I understand, we are. I haven't heard.
We're still on schedule. Thank you.
Okay. So now the update on McCall property.
Okay, you have before you an email from Attorney Harry Sterling Jr. regarding the execution of the contract for the purchase of the McCall property parcel from the Jones estate. As indicated in the email, the district has executed the contract, provided the earnest money, and instructed the Easterling law firm to secure title insurance for the transaction and close at their earliest convenience. And I've included the email along with the copy of the contract. Any questions, glad to address that.
Do I sign the thing or does Dr. Tiller? The contract.
I believe that I'll have to look at what was approved at the meeting.
So when you get it done, you'll call.
Yes,
All right, okay.
when we get to the close.
I just noticed that this was involved in an estate, and Ms. Eastling is going to clarify that, I'm sure, and that also there's a possibility of some issues on materials, and he's covered that in the deed too, so that's good. That's good.
All right, thank you. And Dr. McLeod, an update on school projects.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Tiller, give the screen your attention. This is an update of what's going on at Wallace right now. Next slide. Okay, this slide, turn that down something, Mark. Take a look at this slide right here. This is what Wallace looked like 2 months ago. Next slide. This is what it looked like a month ago. The following slides are what it looks like as of this morning. Next slide. Next slide. Notice that they're coming out of the ground now. In other words, it's about a 2.5 to 3 foot wall, and this is at the front of the school. Next slide. This is the side area down towards the kindergarten area. Next slide. This is long range shot. Next slide. The front area where they've had a pour and they're starting to put up walls as well as door frames. Next. It's the front of the building. Next. Now this is over near where the gym is going to be. In other words, they're just putting the foundation in over near the gym area. Next slide. Still over by the front of the gym area. Next slide. Now this is the retention pond in the front. This is the drainage line that's going to run from the retention pond at the front all the way back to the area where the main school is being built. And this is the main portion of that drainage line. That drainage line is going to run right up through the middle of that playground. And they're going to lose the use of about half that playground because they're going to have to take out the basketball goal and the swings. That's the drainage for the retention pond. Next slide. That's the retention pond itself. Next slide. Another view of the retention pond. And last slide. That's a view of that same piping which went from the retention pond up to the main school. And that's the way it looks as of.
Why are they building the retention pond there?
Because it was a naturally wet area down in there. In other words, it's you should see some of the muck.
I've seen it, yeah, yeah.
And they've gone down probably, I think the last dig out they had the other day was about 7 foot. And so, it's water all the way down.
It's like gumbo.
Just left that retention pond right, right.
I just hate losing that playground area. I mean, they can't route it some better way so we can.
They're going to run it under the playground.
Right.
In other words, they're just going to lose the playground
while they're doing it. Okay, gotcha.
That's the next one, too. Okay, that's the last of that. As far as the press box goes, the deadline for the request for proposal for the press box is Thursday, 11th at 2 p.m. And that's when we'll find out exactly, what the prices are on the press box. Also, down in Clio, we're still collecting prices. We've done some work down in Clio in the sense of the lighting. In other words, there were just a lot of bulbs that weren't out, like the sconces on the side of the building. None of them were working. All of those are working now. And the only lights down there that are not working are a few around the gym, and we had to order special bulbs for them. But if you go down to Clio now, you'll see a great difference at night because we've taken care of most of the lighting. Next on our agenda will be the lighting for the athletic field as well as the fencing situation down there. And that's about it. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chairman, in the interest of time, would it be possible for our superintendent to submit her report in writing?
No, ma'am, I want to give my report.
Can you do it lickety-split?
Yeah, I can do it lickety-split.
Okay.
Okay, I just want to, see, Miss O, you got me all confused. No, the first item I have is I just wanted to let the board know that the second item that was found in your board packet is the strategies of a grant proposal that the School of Discovery is working on, and it's a arts and basic education grant that is awarded by the State Department of Education, but it's a competitive grant. So what you have are the strategies and part of that proposal. And this grant, if funded, will enhance and expand our performing arts programs at the School of Discovery. For example, at the school, we presently do not have a formal drama course and instructor, so we want to add some other things, and these type grants will allow us to do that. So I wanted to share with you what that information is. Also, on November 12th, Domtar Industries donated 10 books to every child enrolled in the district's family literacy program, and each family was given 10 books per child to help build their family libraries. So a special thanks to Domtar Industries for their ongoing support and generosity shown to our children and schools. Congratulations to our re-elected and newly elected school board members, Ms. Lucy Parsons, Board Chairman, Mr. Danny Driggers, and Reverend Artemus Woods, board members. New board member orientation has been scheduled for the first week in January. New members will be notified to determine if the 6th or the 8th would work best for them. So I just wanted the board to know that we've already looking ahead and making sure that we've scheduled that. The swearing-in ceremony for newly elected board members will be held on January 12th at 5:30 in the Media Center at Marlboro County High School. We will welcome the family and friends of our new board members at this ceremony. So the ceremony will be at 5:30, followed by our board meeting at 6. Please be reminded of the upcoming holiday program sponsored by our school's performing arts department. Please come out and support our students and artistic programs during their holiday performances. I also wanted to share with you that this year we've done something a little different as it relates to our basketball teams. We wanted to work on making sure that our high school teams were uniformed when they traveled away and when they're at home. And it was very important for us to work on that. And so I have a picture on my cell phone that I'd just like to send around, and so the board members can see. This is our girls team when they were getting ready for competition on last week. So those are the jackets and the khaki pants that our kids will be wearing as they compete this year, go to competition.
They could go to the Olympics for those outfits.
So we're very happy about that. That was definitely a concern of a lot of our members of our community when I first came on board, concerned about them not having a uniform look. And so I'm happy that we've been able to do that. Also, I wanted to share that our schools will be observing the following winter break schedules. McCall Elementary Middle will close Friday on December 12th. That will be their last day. And all other schools will close next Friday, December 19th. All schools will reopen January 5th. Also, one other thing I wanted to mention, seemed like, I wanted to share with you that we did have our Read for the Record 2014. On October 21st, 2014, the Marlboro County School District celebrated Read for the Record. The Read for the Record campaign celebrates literacy and promotes early childhood education. It is a national campaign to bring primary age children together with valued adults from their communities to read the same book on the same day. This year's book was Bunny Cakes by Rosemary Wells. Employees of Marlboro County School District, local businesses, and members of the community came and read to all of the pre-K through second grade classes and 3- and 4-year-old students from Chesterfield Marlboro Economic Opportunity Council's Head Start. Among the many readers was yours truly. I read over in Wallace, and I had a lot of fun doing it. I know that Mr. Coachman also read in Wallace. Each school began their celebration with a short pep rally to build excitement about reading. After the pep rally, the students returned to their classrooms along with an assigned reader. The pep rallies were facilitated by Margaret Quick and at Wallace, Pamela Smith at McCall, Davita McCall at Clio, Sharon Quick at Blenheim, and Shaquita Pegues in Bennettsville. The Offices of Curriculum Instruction and Assessment and Special Services purchased the book, Bunny Cakes, for every student in grades pre-K through second to take home and to add to their home library. This event was organized by Marquita McLean and technology coach at the adult education department. And so we're very happy about the Read to Succeed and in this particular program because every year our kids really look forward to the Read for the Record. And if you haven't read before, you should come out. The year before, all our kids came and they had on pajamas and we read a book about, I forgot the name of the book. But anyway, it was a good book. What was it? Otis, that's what it was. Okay, thank you. And as we prepare for our winter break, I would like to wish all of you a safe and joyous holiday as we celebrate with family and friends. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Parsons.
All right.
Ms. Parsons, say something?
Sure, Ms. Fleming.
To Mr. Phillips, thank you for inviting us to your school. I want to just tell your performers how great they were, and we enjoyed it so much. And you know how to do it in McCall. Thank you so much for having us. And we wish you continued success here.
And Dr. Phillips, and I'd just like to echo that. See, Ms. O threw me off when she told me to go lickety-split. But I also want to thank you. And Mr. Goff, I just want you to know that the principals and the district staff, we're one. So we're always working together, and I just want you to know that. And if it's anything our principals need, they know that they just let me know. And I appreciate everything that they do, the entire team. Thank you.
Mr. Phillips, I wanted to second that, and I also want to thank Ms. Redding for a wonderful reading program. I think Ms. Fleming was there too. We enjoyed reading Bunny Cakes with your schools.
All right, we need a motion to go into executive session, please, for the following. We have 4 elections and resignations, student matters, high school petitions, and legal matters, attorney search. Sorry, 2 elections, 2 resignations.
Madam Chair,
And-
I jumped the gun. Go ahead. Go ahead. I was making the motion.
Oh, go ahead and make the motion.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make the motion that we go into executive session.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a second? All right, all in favor, please raise your right hand. And we're in executive session. Thank you.
Recommends approval of 2 elections, approval of 3 resignations, and approval of 1 termination.
Is there a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we accept the recommendation from Human Resources.
I second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion's carried unanimously. All right. Ms. Battle.
I'm asking for approval of 24 petitions for high school diplomas.
Is there a second? Motion.
Madam Chairman, I move that we accept those 24 petitions for graduation diplomas.
second.
Now second, okay. All in favor, raise your right hand. And the motion's carried. Thank you, Ms. Battle.
And if I could just remind all members of the board that we will meet on Monday at 6 at the high school.
And Mr. Coachman is not here, but can you fill in Mr. Goff?
Madam Chair, I move that we adjourn.
Second.